Dear Van Gogh is a project that puts the life story between Vincent van Gogh and his brother Theo into the spotlight. You as the player will be able to walk around inside the few critical paintings of Vincent van Gogh while listening to the story behind the context of each painting. You start off in an atelier, with nothing but a blank canvas and a paintbrush in front of you. Once you start painting onto the canvas, a familiar painting reveals itself. As you finish the painting, you are transitioned into a flashback narrative of Vincent's life prior to when the actual painting was created.
Gogh, an older and more experienced artist, moved to live and work with Vincent in the fall of 1888 at the Yellow House.
After this scene, you are transitioned into the scene of the painting you just created. The first of which is Room in Arles, the very room Vincent stayed in during his journey to become a successful painter. You as the player are encouraged to explore the room in Arles, as dialogue between Vincent and his brother is played.
Gogh and I talk a lot about Delacroix. The discussion is excessively electric. As for me, coming here last winter, tired and almost fainting mentally, I too suffered a little inside.
An artifact that is critical to another one of Vincent's painting, a razor, is said to be discovered. Upon picking up the razor, the player would hear the next letter, written by Vincent's brother, Theo, to illustrate the incident where Vincent infamously cuts off his ear.
My dear wife, I found Vincent in the hospital in Arles. For the past few days he had been showing symptoms of that most dreadful illness.
Vincent suffers another episode of paranoia. He realized that he had to come to terms with his declining mental health.
The story continues and the player is spawned back into the atelier. However, this time, a different painting is set to be revealed. This time, it is the Starry Night. During this period, the player is set inside the asylum room that Vincent van Gogh stayed in during his time in Saint-Rémy-de-Provence. It is from the bedroom window where the user can look outside to see the Starry Night, as they listen to a letter Vincent wrote to his brother explaining his improving mental health. The experience ends with the player being explained that Vincent van Gogh's mental health continued to spiral downwards, eventually leading to his suicide. Oftentimes, people recognize the works and admire the art style of Vincent van Gogh, but know very little about the history underlying the immortalized works. We decided to implement such immersive environments and narrative-based storytelling in the hopes of bringing an enriching learning experience to the user. It is more than just an aesthetic experience, where the player would have a closer, more personal understanding of the stories behind these paintings as the relationship of the two Van Gogh brothers.
Hi everybody, my name is Avro and I'm responsible for research and media production for our project.
Hi, my name is Thomas. I'm responsible for the research, storyboarding, and assets development.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm responsible for the main interaction and other Unity stuff for our project.
Our project was inspired by Imagine Van Gogh, an exhibition intended to immerse audience in Van Gogh's paintings through projecting large scales of his works onto walls, floors, and ceilings. We wanted to explore a better way to provide audiences a true immersive experience. Virtual reality then becomes our ideal medium to convey the sense of physically inside the world in the artwork. That is so-called spatial immersion. However, what evokes the audience sense of connection between themselves and the character is often caused by emotional immersion. That is, when the audience watch, hear, or read about a story, they feel emotionally aroused and absorbed by the narrative content. Audiences do not feel bodily presence, but rather they cognitively identify and empathize with the characters of the world. We as the designers want the user to empathetically connect themselves with Van Gogh by showcasing the human relationship between himself and his brother, combined with the hardships that Van Gogh went through that led to his hospitalization and eventual suicide. We felt that solely having a narrative for Van Gogh brothers' letters were not enough, as proven during the user testing we had done with our classmates. We then wrote the script for a narrator to introduce the context at the beginning of each environment and summary of the resolution to the event occurred in the painting. In order to mimic the true tone of Vincent self-narrating his letter to immerse audience into the story, we brought a professional voice actor from across the globe to resemble the Dutch accent. The models were composed of assets found online and then modified to fit within the context of the story. This often involved having to modify textures in Photoshop, creating normal maps, emission maps, and alpha maps. For the video transitions that explain the context of the painting, they were created in Adobe After Effects and Premiere Pro. Many of the lighting effects involve the use of emissive shaders in combination with post-processing to create glow effects, which was seen from the window in the room in Arles, and stars in Starry Night. Particle system effects were also used to create cinematic effects, like the light rays seen in the room, or fireflies seen in Starry Night. During our final showcase, user testing participants put in a lot more time and effort than we expected when they saw the project as something meaningful and educational. People coming into the showcase came from different backgrounds, some who were experts who were doing research in VR, some are people who've never even touched a VR system in their life. We needed to find a good balance facilitating different audiences as their expectations and their pace is different. Users leave our VR experience feeling more connected with Vincent van Gogh and a sense of how he perceived the world during the time he was painting these artworks. Dear Van Gogh was a project we enjoyed building as much as our participants enjoyed experiencing. This is a project that will forever be endeared by the designers of this project.